Alright, Outlaw Radio Live fans, we are live on the air with none other than the legendary East Coast legend. We got Masta Ace on the line. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing good, man. How's everything?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing absolutely wonderful. And I hope you're doing all safe out there in New York with this pandemic going on.
Yeah, I'm in Jersey. I live in Jersey now since 2006, and my family and I are just, we only leave the house to go grocery shopping right now. Just not taking any chances.
I don't blame you. It's the same thing down here. The same thing we're doing. But the one I know you're a very busy guy, so I'm gonna get right into this, Master. But I have to ask you, right from the beginning, what made you decide to get into music to begin with?
It wasn't really a matter of deciding to get into it. I was in college, and my long term plan or whatever was to get a degree and eventually, get a job, and I wanted to go into advertising. Music was definitely not something that I was looking at as something that was going to be a career. I didn't see that being a possibility. So it really just came down to me winning a rap contest, getting first place, and that's what sort of pushed me or gave me the opportunity, I should say, to take a shot at music, and it turned out to be a lot more than I expected.
Most definitely, and like you just said, you weren't even expecting to do it, but then you did that contest, and boom, look at you now. You're a household name.
Yeah, not all households, but I'll take it.
And also, in 1988, you appeared on the classic Juice Crew posse as the Symphony. I have to ask, how did you get connected with them, and what was that experience like being able to appear on that classic Juice Crew posse's record?
Well, everything came from the rap contest that I mentioned earlier. Um, First prize for winning that contest was 6 hours of studio time with producer Marley Marl, who is, of course, the producer of the whole Juice Crew. But at the time, he was one of the hottest producers in hip hop, and I won the contest. I had the chance to get my 6 hours of studio time, and met Marley for the first time. He liked what I laid down as far as my rhymes, and he asked me to keep coming back. And that's how I wound up being in a position even to be on the symphony, because I was one of the artists featured on Marley Marl's compilation album, Marley Marl in Control Volume One, and that's what really set my career off.
Oh, and most definitely, that right there must have definitely opened up a lot of amazing doors for you.
Well, yeah, I mean, nobody knew who I was up to that point, so it was really the first time that people had heard my name. When they saw me in the video, that was the first time I was ever seen by the hip hop audience, and so that was the beginning for me.
And also, 2 years later, in the year 1990, you released your debut album called Take a Look Around. I have to ask you, what was the inspiration and story behind that iconic record of yours?
No real story, just a kid that wanted to hear his song on the radio. I was just hoping to get a chance to get my song played on the radio. I had the opportunity to record. I didn't really know much about the business or anything at that point, but I figured I was just going to take my best shot at it, and so I had the opportunity to do the album, and lo and behold, people liked it enough to turn it into a career.
And I also have to ask this. I read on the internet that during the song Me and the Biz, you actually impersonated Biz Markie. I have to ask you, why did you end up impersonating him? Like, was it because he didn't show up to the studio or something along those lines?
Well, yeah, Biz was supposed to be on the song. That was the original plan. It was supposed to be a duet. And at that time, he and Marley were going through their little situation, whatever it was. I was just trying to get my album done. And Biz said he would do the record, but he said he didn't want to come to Marley's house to record. He said he'll do the record if I can record it at his house. And I got kind of put in the middle because Marley was like, no, we're not doing that. And so Marley said, why don't you just leave it how it is? Because I recorded Biz's verses, And I really just impersonated him so that he would know which parts were his versus which parts were mine. That's why I originally did it that way. And so I recorded it so that when he got the tape, he would listen to it, memorize his parts, and know when he rapped and when I rapped. Never in a million years did I think that was going to turn into a song where I'm impersonating Biz for the whole song. But it was Marley's idea that you could keep the song the way it was with me doing Biz's voice. And a lot of people were confused initially, but I guess it worked out as a debut single. It wouldn't have been my choice for a debut single, but at least I got something put out, you know?
And that's true. When I actually first heard that song myself, for the longest time, I always thought it was Biz Markie. You know what? You really did impersonate him very well. I always thought it was Biz Markie until I did my research for this interview, and I was like, wait, what? Then I went back and re-listened, and then I was like, okay, I hear it now.
Yeah, to this day, I still have people that come up to me and didn't know that, and it amazes me because it's 30 years. You know, I would have thought that everybody would know that by now, but still people don't know.
And also, you created the crew Masta Incorporated. I have to ask you, what's the story behind that formation, and what all members were a part of that group?
At the time, I was trying to do the group concept because that seemed to be, to me, that was more fan friendly to have a crew instead of a solo artist. I looked at it. Fans might, not like me per se. They might not like my voice or my raps or my style or my flow, but there might be somebody else on my project that they would that they would like. And so I just thought that the group idea at that time you had groups like Cypress Hill and House of Pain and just a bunch of different groups that were out at the time, and so it just made sense that you had more of a shot to be recognized if you did it as a group. And so that was really the thinking behind it and why I did it that way.
And back in those days, you had, like you said, you had tons of phenomenal groups. It's actually, there's not a lot of groups actually nowadays in hip hop like this day and age. Everyone's a solo artist.
Yeah. Exactly. Back then, there was very few solo artists. It was mostly successful groups.
And that's true, too bad we can't get some actual hip hop groups back in hip hop nowadays. Help bring real hip hop back.
Yeah, I would love to have some groups come out. Everybody wants all the shine for themselves, I guess. I'm not sure.
And I agree with that. You can't have all the stuff for yourself, man. Sometimes a group is good. It brings more light, into hip hop.
Absolutely.
So, in the year 1993, you released the album Slaughterhouse, which is actually one of my absolute favorites. I have to ask you, what was the inspiration behind that iconic record?
Well, coming off of the Me and the Biz single and that album, there were a lot of fans that were confused about what I was, especially in New York City. They thought, based on that Me and the Biz song and the video, I had the puppet in the video. So I was kind of being viewed as this kind of novelty artist, and I didn't want to be viewed that way because that song really didn't represent who I was as an artist. My songs had a lot more depth to them, meaning they were more thought-provoking songs. And so my goal with Slaughterhouse was to break out of that mold of people thinking that I was this novelty artist. So it was super important to me to prove to fans that I could do some real hard hip-hop. And so when I went in the studio to do Slaughterhouse, my goal was to do the absolute hardest record that I could put together. And that's what I did.
And I have to say, that album from front to back was a complete slapper. I have to say that's in one of my top favorite albums that you have actually produced.
Thank you. That was a great, fun time for me I was a brand new. I was newly on my own. There was no more Marley. I wasn't in Marley's shadow anymore. I had the opportunity to kind of call the shot with the music that I was going to record, and so that was my first chance to really make my own record. And so a lot of fun times in those studio sessions. from back in the days, we recorded everything at Firehouse Studios in Brooklyn, which is the same place, coincidentally, that Gangstar recorded, that early Wu-Tang was recorded there. A few other people too, but Firehouse Studios in Brooklyn.
And also in 1994, you became a member of a temporary crew called Crooklyn Dodgers with Special Ed and Buckshot for Spike Lee's movie Crooklyn. I have to ask you, what was that experience like, and how did that come to be for you guys?
Well, I just got a phone call from Q-Tip one day. I'm not even sure how he got my number at the time, but he called me and asked me would I be interested in being part of a song for Spike Lee's movie. Of course, I said absolutely. That would be a great opportunity for me. And we went in and we recorded the first version of the song, which was me, Buckshot, and Special Ed, just rapping, just trying to like rappers do. We're trying to out rap each other and spit the dopest, verses or whatever. And when Spike Lee heard the song, he's like, "This is cool, but it doesn't really capture what the movie is about. You guys need to see the movie." So he set up a screening of the movie like months before it ever hit theaters. He wanted us to see the movie and then go back and rewrite our verses. And once we saw the movie and saw that it was based in Brooklyn, New York, in the 70s, and it was this whole 70s soundtrack that he was creating with all these old songs, and this is going to be the only new song, but he wanted it to still represent the 70s. We went back and rewrote our rhymes, and the rhymes that you hear on the song are the rhymes, the new version, but there's a version of that song with different rhymes, completely different rhymes.
Is that song actually out on the internet for people to listen to, or is that actually in the record label's vault?
I don't know I have it somewhere on a cassette, but I don't know that it ever. I don't know if Q-Tip kept it. He may have just recorded over those rhymes. I have no idea whatever happened to it. I didn't have control of those masters, but I wonder. That's actually a good question. I wonder if Q-Tip or Spike Lee have the reels from that session, and maybe they still have that other version. That'd be cool to hear.
Oh, most definitely. And it's the reason why I asked that was because nowadays almost everything is surfacing on the internet, songs that are from the early 90s and that are new to us today.
Yeah, I don't know if that would ever see the light of day, but I have a cassette of it somewhere. I can't. I'm not for sure where it is, but I have a bag full of cassettes. And it's in one of those. It's somewhere in that bag.
And also, you did some voiceover work for the television series Kung Fucks. I think that's how it is. Which has
Kung Fu.
Oh, Kung Fu. Sorry about that. Which has been seen in over 150 countries worldwide. I have to ask you, what was that experience like? And was it actually different going from hip hop to doing voiceover work for a television series?
No, I mean it was just a fun thing to do, a fun project. Something different. We made a couple of bucks, nothing really all that significant to come in and basically just, they would play old kung fu movies, and they wanted us to just kind of look at what was happening on the screen, and kind of just do overdubs of what we thought was being said, just change it up and make it funny. And so that's what we did. There was no script. There was literally no script. It was just us making up stuff on our own that we thought was funny and just saying it, and we spend the day recording. It was kind of cool. It's kind of interesting, different.
Do you ever go back after a while and actually rewatch the series and just kind of reminisce about that part of your life?
No, I haven't heard any Kung Fu episodes. I haven't seen any in a long time. Ever since they were recorded, I don't think I've seen maybe a year or so after. But after that, I never saw them.
And also in 2005, you were a part of the rockumentary What Hip Hop Is. I have to ask you, what was that experience like, and what was it like being a part of that project?
I don't remember that project. What was it called? What Hip Hop Is?
Yeah, well, What Hip Hop Is.
I actually don't remember being a part of that. If you tell me I was, I believe you. But I don't really remember the being there, the recording of my parts or anything.
I saw it on
But
IMDb, so I'm guessing maybe they might have mentioned you, and then you might have been in the credits.
maybe.
But I also read that from the year 2011 to 2012, you actually coach high school football for Iverington Blue Knights in New Jersey. I have to ask you, what was that experience like, actually being able to coach high school football?
Well, first of all, I coached for 11 years total. I coached for Irvington and 2011, 2012. But before that, I coached in Brooklyn at a school called Canarsie High School, and I coached there from 2002 to 2009. So the experience was incredible for me because I got a chance to mentor young men from the same neighborhoods that I was from. Many didn't have, father figures in their lives. I got to meet these kids when they were 13, 14 years old, teach them about a little bit about life, give them some life lessons. And I'm still in touch, believe it or not, with a lot of those same kids. Now they're grown men, and some of them in their 30s, and some of them have wives, kids, jobs. One of my guys is a physician's assistant at a hospital, working right now in the middle of this madness that's going on. And I reached out to him to see how he was holding up under this pandemic, and it's just great to be able to still be in touch with these young men all these years later and see them, flourishing and doing. A lot of them are doing really well.
When you were coaching these young lads, when they were young, did they ever know exactly who you were? Did they always go did they ever walk in and go, "Oh my God, my coach is Masta Ace"?
Nah, never. They didn't know anything about the music part of my life. They would hear little stuff here and there because they were a lot younger. They weren't really connected to my generation of music. They were more focused on the artists that were new, that were coming out. And because they viewed me as a coach, they would never make the connection that I was also an artist. Nothing about my demeanor around them made them think that I was an artist. And I liked it that way. I preferred them to not know anything about the music because a lot of them were aspiring rappers deep down or wanted to try it out or whatever. And so what I didn't want was kids coming up to me trying to rap for me or let me hear their verse, because I wanted to keep that relationship of coach and player just really, really tight. And I wanted them to understand that I'm not your peer. Even if you rap, we're not peers. I'm your coach. You respect me on that level, and that's how I always kept it.
And just before we move off the topic of you coaching high school football, I have to ask, in the years of you coaching, did you ever win any championships with any teams that you coached?
Absolutely. So I coached the junior varsity team at Canarsie High School in Brooklyn, and we actually won a total of 5 JV championships while I was there. We had a crazy, impressive win-loss record during my time there, and I'm real proud. I held on to the win-loss record. I have it like written in my phone just to remind myself what we did. Really, really good win-loss record during my time there. We were a very successful team.
And I do want to ask you, this is one of my personal questions I wanted to ask you because this song really helped me get through a lot of hard times in my life. Your song called No Regrets. I have to ask you, what's the story and inspiration behind that iconic track? Because that track, I couldn't count how many times I was down and out, and I put that song on, and it brought me right back up.
Well, really, the song was just me. I really felt like at that point in 2001, I really thought that I was kind of at the end of my career. I thought that I wasn't going to get much further in the music business. I didn't think that people really cared much about what I was doing musically, and I had kind of accepted that. But what I wanted to do with that song was just let fans know that regardless of how this thing ends or how it turns out, I don't have any regrets about anything that I did. So it was really me writing. I wrote that song from the perspective of this is probably going to be my last album, and so that's why that song came about.
And also, you co-own M3 Mac Mill music label. I have to ask you, what's the story behind you creating a label, and what services do you offer for the music industry?
Well, so I partnered with my boy Rich Ahi, Filthy Rich, who was the owner of the studio, DJ Rob, who was an engineer at the studio, also another partner. And those were the two guys that kind of pushed me, if you want to say, and convinced me that I could really do another record. This was in 2000, and I didn't really see it, but they gave me a nudge, enough of a nudge to want to try it again. So I put out the album Disposable Arts in 2001. And after that time, um, they had a label called Yosumi, which was really like it was a label for like specialty kind of records. They put out a couple of albums, Game Over 1 and Game Over 2, but it was really just for specialty kind of records. But for my project, I didn't want my project to come out on a label that was doing specialty records. I wanted it to be on a real label. So we formed M3 back in 2001, and just moving forward, every record that I put out after that had that M3, logo on it. Because, but in terms of services for the industry, nothing. We only put out music that we, curate under our umbrella, artists that we are around and have brought to the table. But we're not like out looking actively trying to sign people and put records out on people that we don't know.
So I have to ask you, Masta, what's next for you? Do you have any new records? Any shows after this pandemic? Anything you want? Anything you want to promote? Will we still have you here on the air?
Well, yeah, I'm in the process of writing a musical, a hip hop musical, that's going to be loosely based on my albums, Disposable Arts, A Long Hot Summer, and The Falling Season. So if you're familiar with those albums and some of the characters on those albums, on the skits and stuff, a lot of those characters will be brought to life in this musical. And I'm in the process of working on the music, the songs, the script. It's been quite a experience, something new for me, different for me, and I don't have a timetable as to when that's going to be done, but we're working. I work every single week. I work on it. I sit down with the dramaturg and we talk about the next step, and eventually we'll get there. And at some point, you'll be hearing, you'll be going to being able to go to a theater and see a musical that I wrote.
And I have to ask you quickly about that musical. Do you have any ideas of what cities you actually want to try and bring the musical to?
Yeah, well, it's my. I mean, it's too early to really say, but it's my belief that starting somewhere in Europe, like London, in my mind, want to start. I want the very first opening night to be in London, England, because I have a huge fan base there, who I know would support whatever I do out there. And then after doing maybe we do a week in London, and then we move to Berlin. We do a week there. There's so many cities around Europe that have supported my music and my movement for years now, going on 20 years. And so for me, I would rather start abroad and sort of fine-tune the musical, get it right before we come to the States, because the States is a little bit a tougher sell. Because in the States, it's all about name recognition, and they don't understand that there's a whole legion of fans, underground fans, that follow these artists. They think that if you're not on the radio, if you're not Lil Wayne or this one or that one, that it's not viable. But we'll know from the European shows exactly how to launch it in the States, because we'll know kind of from those shows what the turnouts will be. We'll know if we should go to small theaters, medium theaters, what kind of, how we should roll it out in the States. But I just want to say the company that I'm collaborating with on this musical is a hip-hop theater company called Rhymes Over Beats, and we've been working on this for about 2 years now.
And that's what's up, man. I'm actually looking forward to actually being able to hear about that when it comes out.
That's Absolutely.
So this is the time in the interview, Masta, that I have the individual that comes on the show just a chance to give shout-outs to whomever they want to give shout-outs to, and also your social media handles. That way our listeners can give you a follow if they're not already doing so.
All right. Well, my Instagram is Masta Ace Pick, Pics, Mastaace Pick. My Twitter is just at Masta Ace. My my fan page on Facebook is Masta Ace Official, and I have a website where you can buy all my merch, my T-shirts, my vinyl, my CDs, my hats, and that's just mastaace.com. Pick up some merch. Yeah.
I want to say, Masta, thank you so much for coming up on the show. I've been a fan of your work for a very, very long time. So it was an absolute honor just for you to be able to just provide me with a little bit of your time to come on my show, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. I just want to shout out my man Marco Polo. We just did the album in 2018, The Brooklyn Story. And Marco is a product of Canada, so I definitely want to shout him out. We did a great album. We toured the world 2 years so far on that album. And hopefully when this pandemic slows down, we'll do some more, and we're working on a new album as well.
That's what's up, man. It actually sounds great. I hope maybe you can come down here and get some Canadian shows as well.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Masta, again for coming on the show. It was an absolute honor, and most definitely stay safe during this pandemic, and most definitely have yourself an amazing night.
You too, man. God bless.
God bless.